Hi guys, this is Simeon from Swedish Homestead. It's a beautiful day. Today I'm working in the garden and I want to talk about two different subjects today. One is why I don't use raised garden beds, and the second one is if wood chips are toxic for your soil. The reason I don't use raised garden beds is very simple. I try to work with nature and not against nature in as many areas as I can. Actually, that is my approach, that I try to copy nature and work with nature everywhere and learn from the creation. And so when I think of raised garden beds, to me it goes against nature. Why? Because of gravity. They will dry out very quickly because of gravity, and you will have to put more labor into it, and you will have to water them much more. And that is my main reason why I don't use raised garden beds. Now if you do gardening the right way, you can do it in a way that it saves your back, but I understand if people that have back issues benefit from raised garden beds. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying why I don't use them. Now there's not just a quick and easy answer to that, but I want to say that in general organic matter is good for your soil, and that the worst thing you can do though is to use raw wood chips and mix it into the soil and till it in. That's the worst thing you could do. In fact, if you have just plain raw wood chips, it is toxic for your soil. Now, if you look at this pile here of wood chips, it has been sitting here for almost 2 years. And you see, these are not roots here, but these wood chips, they just hang together by fungi that is starting to break this down, and this is very, very beneficial. Now these wood chips that have been decomposing here for a couple of years, it has been raining on them, they've been producing heat. These are going to be very, very beneficial for your garden, but you still do not want to till them in. I'm always talking from a permaculture, no dig, no till point of view. And you see, we are going to use these in our garden beds, and we are going to layer the garden beds with already composted material, and the walkways between, we are going to use wood chips on there. And we hope that the roots of the plants and everything will be able to tap into this and benefit from the composting process here and the whole fungi root system and everything here. The bigger of a variety of organic matter you have in your garden beds, the better it is, and the more the plants can choose what they need. And to enrich the soil by layering organic matter and compost on top is really, I believe, the best approach to do this. Now, there has been a gardening documentary in the past 5 years that has been very successful, or I should probably say very influential. I'm talking, of course, of the Back to Eden film. And I had the privilege to visit Paul Gauci on his farm before, and he's a great guy, and we have tested this gardening system over the past 3 years, I would say, and we've done a lot of mistakes, a lot of things wrong, and to my opinion, to my taste, there are a few things that are not really clear enough. Not that Paul or the makers of the documentary wanted to hide something, but I would now afterwards really just want to emphasize a few points in that. And the first thing is that when Paul Gauci talks about wood chips for your garden, he does not mean just a log or a dead branch chipped up and to put that on the garden. In the beginning he mentions it real quick, that he talks about branches with green and leaf in it. That is the key. And so it does not work with sawdust. It does not work with just chipped up boards or logs or something like that. You need to have a lot of green material in that. Now when we use our deep bedding, for example, of course we put chipped up boards and chipped up logs and wood shavings in it. But the manure that the cows or the chickens add to it, that is actually what would be the green part in chipped branches, like the leaves. And so that is the first thing that I would really emphasize, because if you just use sawdust or chipped up boards or logs, it will be toxic. Even if you layer it, I have noticed that it really makes it acidic on the top layers. The next thing that I would emphasize is that Paul, in his movie, he pretty much, and I've visited him and talked with him about it, he uses raw wood chips, the kind that he talks about with leaves and everything. He uses that on his orchard only. And on his garden, he actually layers it with already decomposed material, compost. And that is something that I would highly recommend as well. You can see Elliot Coleman on YouTube, he does the same thing. You can see Richard Perkins from Richdale Permaculture, who does the same thing. And we're going to do the same thing. We have done the same thing the past year and a half, I would say. Because it's just a lot of work to put this raw material on your garden, especially when you start out and you have raw, fresh wood chips. You don't want to do that. And I will be sharing more of this throughout the season. I will be explaining more of this. But the point that I'm making today is fresh, raw, undecomposed wood chips are going to be toxic for your garden. I would not layer those on your garden. I would use, if you want to cover your soil with wood chips, I would use wood chips that have been laying on a pile like this for a couple of years, or a year at least. And but I would highly recommend to use compost. I would highly recommend to your walkways, for example, to use wood chips on there, and to really work with organic matter in your garden. Now, I'm really excited about this growing season. Today is an absolutely amazing day. We are having about 12-13 degrees Celsius, very warm for this time of year, and the weather report actually says for some snow in a couple days, but this is exciting. And all I need right now, as I'm making some garden beds, I need the gardening soil to be free of frost and to just be able to prepare the gardening beds. Gardening in the climate where we are in is really challenging to extend the growing season, and I hope you will find this very interesting throughout the year. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it interesting, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.